What? Recently, I've come to the realization that all men are not trash. So I've been dating. I am not a picky person. Like, I have standards, don't get me wrong, but I'm not the type of person to just find fault in everything. Like, that's not me at all. I'm saying all this to say, when it comes to my Instagram DM, I'm really particular about who I reply to, about whose messages I open. I filter everything. Occasionally, I'll get guys that'll DM me. Typically, the guys that slide in my DM, they always say the same thing. Either they're complimenting me like crazy, or they're like, oh, I can change your life. I got a DM that was a little bit different. I didn't feel like he was being one of the guys that are just like down my throat and just like, it just didn't feel like it was forced or anything like overwhelming. Plus, he was attractive, so I'm like, okay, cool. We spoke via DM for maybe like a few days. We exchanged numbers. He's really sweet, you know, like he texts me every morning, good morning, you know, how's your morning going? Typical conversations. It was never anything just like off the wall or anything like, you know, too intricate. We were texting back and forth for maybe like a good 2 or 3 weeks before he was like, you know, okay, let's link up, let's hang out. Normally, I would never ever go to a movie theater for a first date. It's just like the biggest no-no. I'm calling this the date from hell from my perspective. I feel like, you know, when you take someone out on a date, there should be specific guidelines that you follow as a man. Men are pretty much taught from the womb how they should treat a woman. This date wasn't it. No. This was back when I had my Honda. I wasn't big baby balling in my Lexus. I had the Honda. I was pushing the Honda. I am pulling into the movie theater parking lot, and this is my car. And I'm going, you know, maybe 5 miles an hour just looking for a parking space. Someone is backing out of a parking space. He was going at least 15 miles an hour backing out of a parking space. So this man almost hits me. I lay on my horn. I'm like, what the like? But then I finally find somewhere to park or whatever. I park my car and I get a call. It's my date. He's like, the car that almost just hit you, that was me. I'm like, what? You cannot drive. Yo, maybe instead of going on a date, we need to be going to some driving lessons. Driver's ed, perhaps. You have to have gotten your license at Walmart. There's no DMV in America giving license to people going 15 miles per hour out of a parking space. I mean, I wasn't going to really hold that against him because that really wasn't a part of the date. But it still had like an effect on my mood a little bit. Like, I didn't let it ruin the date or anything, but it was kind of like, no. He walks up to my car after I park, and he's like, you know, even more apologetic. He's like, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't see you behind me, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, you know, not everybody can drive. I wish I would have left right then and there. We're walking into the theater, and like right away, he's different. I FaceTimed with him, so of course he didn't look different, but just the way he was acting was like mad weird. He was doing too much. Like, he was mean mugging dudes. I felt like he thought he was my boyfriend like right away. It was just really weird. I continued with the date. I'm like, okay, maybe he'll chill out after a minute. Wrong. He drops that corny ass joke that guys always, you know, always have to bring up. Oh, you know, you gonna pay? I'm like, no. But we get up to the ticket booth and this man's card declines. I'm like, okay. Immediately I'm turned off. He goes and makes his little transfer, you know, he gets all his money in order. I'm just like, oh, you were for real when you wanted me to pay. Like, I was not. Either he was gonna pay or I was gonna go home. That's just how it was. So I'm turned off. I'm like, all right, this is kind of awkward. But I'm like, okay, you know what? Some people, sometimes we forget things, you know. I am a very forgiving person. Like, I hate this. I need to be more, you know, like, one and done. Like, okay, one mistake, you need to go. Like, I want to be that type of person. That's what I'm working towards now. Like, I just don't have the energy for guys that just want to waste my time. So we get up to the concessions line. He's like, I'm hungry. I'm like, yeah, me too. He's like, I want a slushie, you know, I think I want some popcorn too. And I'm like, all right, yeah, me too. I'm really on the fence on if I even want to ask this man to get me anything. I'm like, oh my God, his card declined. But I'm like, this is a date. Like, you knew where you were coming. So clearly you transferred you some money for a ticket. You can transfer some money for some food too, honey. You're not going to starve me. He's like, all right, let me get a slushie. And she's like, okay, do you want anything else? And he's like, nah, that's it. I'm like, I just told you I'm hungry. Like, why are you you're not gonna give me any food? Like, what are you doing? He gets himself a slushie and that's it. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm thinking maybe this is just a joke and he's gonna go get me something. This man gets over to the straws and he's like, grab a straw. I'm like,
I don't know where your mouth be. You might have the cookie.
it's literally impossible not to backwash with a straw, which means when you drink with the straw, the liquid that goes in your mouth goes directly back down into the cup. So if you think I'm about to drink after you and this is the first date, I don't even know you like that. I wouldn't even let you kiss me, let alone drink after you. At this point, I'm disgusted. I'm like, all right, this was strike 3 right here. After this, I should have went home. He's trying to talk up a storm with me and I'm like, oh, okay, like, that's really nice. Okay, that's cool. Like, you're not gonna sit up here and act like everything is all just fine and dandy. As I'm sitting in the theater, I'm getting more and more upset because I'm getting more and more hungry. He's like, I kind of feel like you mad at me. I'm like, we're gonna call him John. I'm like, why, John? Why, John? Why do you think I'm mad at you, John? He's like, because I didn't get you anything to eat. I'm like, oh. You think I would be mad about that? What? We talked about the fact that we were gonna get a slushie and some slushies and some popcorn, but you didn't get that for me. And he's just like, well, when she said anything else, you didn't say you wanted anything. First of all, I was behind you, so there's no way. What was I supposed to just be like,
move, bitch?
I'm thinking, you're the man, we're on a date, I told you what I wanted, you're gonna order what I want. Like, why do two people need to take orders on the same tab? That was just literally a cover up for the fact that he didn't want to pay for me at that point. I'm like, okay, save it. So I go out into the lobby and I call my mom. I'm like, Mom, this is the brokest situation I've ever been in. What do I do? She's like, don't leave, you know, still see the movie. You wanted to see this movie for a long time. Just, you have money, buy yourself some food. I'm like, all right. I go to the concessions, I buy myself, I think I got me some candy, some chicken tenders, and a slushie. Like, at this point, I'm trying to flex on him. I'm like, okay, you think you gonna make me starve? You gonna make me starve? So I'm gonna go ahead and splurge. I'm gonna go get myself everything I'm craving. I'm gonna go get me all the food I want, since you want to sit up here and try to make me share your little raspberry slushie with you. No. I come back in the theater with my food and he's like, what'd you get? If you would have told me you wanted all that, I would have got it for you. You ain't even get popcorn. So how was you gonna get chicken tenders, candy, and a drink? Like, so he's fake mad with me. I'm like, okay, whatever. So the movie starts. So throughout the movie, I have like this awkward disposition. I'm like, okay, like, he better not try anything. You're on thin ice right now. Like, at this point, we're at the movie theater. This is not a date anymore to me. This is like two pals hanging out. Like, you better stay on your side. You better not put your arm around me. You better not be talking to me extra hard. Listen. No. Eventually, I loosen up. I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me just enjoy this movie. Let me not, be rude. So we're watching the movie. Why does this man do the corny ass? I'm like, why do you have your arm around me? Like, no, please don't. He's like, oh, it's like that. I'm like, yes, like that.
Ho, big guy. You sound like you a little frustrated and mad.
So he's quiet the rest of the movie. And I don't mind, because honestly, I didn't want to talk to him anyway. The movie is over. He goes back to the whole food situation. He's like, oh, you know, I just really feel like, you know, I left a bad impression on you. Basically, at this point, he's trying to argue with me and go back and forth with me about the fact that he didn't actually want to buy me food. Like, he's really just like, you know, stuck on this. Like, I didn't bring it up again. I was going to let it go. But the fact that he's bringing it up is just like, it's getting on my nerves at this point. So I'm like, okay. Well, since you want to flex, since everything is just nothing and you're just big daddy, big baller, shot caller, reimburse me and give me my money back. He's like, oh, how much you spent? I was like, $25. He's like, oh, that's nothing. He's like, with his little ones, his little tens, his little fives. I'm like, okay. I don't know if he thought that, you know, oh, this means that I'm just in good standing with her and this whole date was just like a yeah when it was like a complete no. He was back on that weird vibe stuff. He walked me to my car. He hugs me. Now, I didn't have a problem with the hugging. What I had a problem with was this man thought he could put his hand on my behind. I grabbed this man's hand. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, what do you mean? Like, he goes into this like just entitlement fit, and I'm like, what are you doing? I wanted to spaz on him. I wanted to call them people. Like, at that moment, I just was just like, wow, you really have not been raised appropriately. Like, you really think that after the first date you can touch my behind? I have been with a guy for years and was never okay with him touching my behind in public. Like, it's just not okay. Like, and it wasn't even the fact that it was in public. It was the fact that you thought you could touch my behind, period. He's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, you know, you can't touch my butt. Like, what are you doing? This is the part that gets me. He's like, I took you out. I paid for a movie. I feel like I should be able to, you know, men have needs. I'm not saying I should be able to sleep with you, but I should be able to get a little feel at least, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, let me move my bang so I can further assess this situation. Have you lost your damn mind? Not everything is clicking up here. Like, you didn't get the fact that I didn't want your arm around me in the theater, but you think you can touch my butt? No. Now, you're lucky I didn't call the police on you. Like, I wanted him to go to jail. I was like, no. He thought that, you know, I was gonna go home and just like talk to him still the same and just be okay. But no, like, after that, I deleted his number. I blocked his number. I'm just like, he still follows me on Instagram, I think, but he knows not to say anything to me because it's just like, what do you want? This is exactly why I'm skeptical about my DMs. Like, I'm not stuck up for no reason. Like, I have my reasoning. I'm grateful that he wasn't bold enough to try something else. Like, very grateful. But thank you for watching. I enjoyed making this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what video you want to see next.